will learn next chapter, that is the English language. First, let's look at the language status of English. And I have a question to ask. Which language family does English belong to? Let's look. English is a member of the Indo-European language family. And last time we said Chinese is a member of Sino-Tibetan language family. And English is spoken by about 470 million people throughout the world. And English is the official language of about 45 nations. So what is official language? Official language refers to a language used in the government, usually judiciary, legislature, and administration. And English is also the mother tongue of about 60 million people in the British Isles. Mother tongue. That is Chinese meaning, 母语. And from where it spreads to many other parts of the world. Why? Why does English spread to many other parts of the world except British Isles? Because of the British exploring, colonizing, and empire building. From when to when? From the 17th through 19th century, or about 200 or 300 years. Okay, English is often used as the first language in different countries. So first question, what is first language? First language is also called native language or mother tongue. The first language is the language that a person is exposed from birth or in some critical period. Okay, let's look at the countries. First country, huge country, that is the US, the United States, and another huge country, that is the country, the neighbor to the US, Canada. And then let's look, another country, that is UK, the United Kingdom of Britain, and Australia, and a number of Pacific islands also use English as the first language. And there's another country, New Zealand, okay? And let's look at the Western Hemisphere. Some countries in the Western Hemisphere use English as the first language. And also, look at here. There's something special here, Africa and Asia. Why? Why some countries in Africa and Asia use English as first language? Let's turn back. Just now we said, because of the English exploring, colonizing, and empire building. Okay, and then let's go on. English as the official language. Okay, and English can be used as the official language in many different countries or organizations. For example, the most influential organization in the world, the UN, okay, uses English as the official language. Also, the EU, the European Union, and also other international organizations use English as the official language. For example, the ECB. ECB, what is ECB? ECB means European Central Bank, and EFTA, European Free Trade Association, and ASEAN, Asian. What is it? Association of South East Asian Nations, and OPEC. That is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Okay, and let's go on. I have a question about this. Now, here we will talk about the history of English. English has developed over the course of long history. So, how long? How many years? Let's do this question. Answer this question. First one, less than 800 years. Second, about 1,000 years. And then over 1,400 years. And then over 2,000 years. Which one is correct? Which one? Let's look. Yes, over 1,400 years. Okay, now let's go on. Let's look at the English development history in details. First, there are 4 periods or 4 stages in English development. First one, that is Old English. Second, Middle English, and then Early Modern English. And the last one is nowadays Modern English. Okay. Let's look at first stage. The earliest forms of English are called Old English. Old English. Let's look in the 5th century. So the beginning of English can date back to the 5th century. Okay, a set of Anglo-Frisian dialects brought to the Great Britain by some Anglo-Saxons. We have to remember these people because these people are really famous in English history, and these dialects are called Old English. So question, who are Anglo-Saxons? Who? The Anglo-Saxons were the members of Germanic-speaking groups who migrated to the southern half of the island of the Great Britain. From where? From northwestern Europe and their cultural descendants. Okay, and this picture shows the Old English. Can you understand that? Oh, it seems so abstract to our modern people. Okay, let's enjoy some quick pictures about Anglo-Saxons. And let's jump to the second stage, that is Middle English. The second stage, okay, let's go on. Middle stage began in the late 11th century. With what? With the Norman conquest of England. And what happened in this stage? The language was influenced by French. Okay. And then, so question, what is the famous Norman conquest? Okay, the Norman conquest of England, also we can say the Norman conquest, or just the conquest, was the 11th century invasion and occupation of England. By who? By an army of Norman, Breton, 布列塔尼人, and Flemish and the French soldiers led by the Duke of Normandy, later styled William the Conqueror. So this is the famous Norman conquest. So what did Norman conquest bring to English? Let's look. Let's look at the language changes in this period. Okay, first, the introduction of Anglo-Norman as the language of the ruling classes. Look at this. Ruling classes in England. Why? Because Norman conquered the Britain, and let's look at the language changes in the words. Okay, Norman French words entered the English language. For example, beef, button, pork. Okay, and then the usage of names, especially male names. Okay, what kind of male names are used in English? The male names common in France. For example, William, Robert, Richard were used in English. at that time, okay? And then let's look. And let's look at this picture. This picture shows the Norman conquest. When did it happen? In 1066, with the Norman conquest of England, the French became the language of English court, aristocracy, society, and literature. But English was still used. We find the French were used what? In the upper class, okay? And we can draw some conclusion about this part. That is, all in all, the English absorbed about 10,000 new words from the French, okay, from Normans. And in this stage, many French words were put into English. Do you know we can find many English words of French origin? Why? Just because of this period, Norman conquest, okay? And then let's look. Oh, this is the picture of Norman conquest of England. And then, let's go on with the next stage. That is the third stage, early modern English. Okay. The early modern English began in the late 15th century with the introduction of the publication of King James Bible and with the start of the Great Vowel Shift. Okay, so what is King James Bible? Have you ever heard it? The King James Bible. Also, we call it King James Version. Also, King James Bible. Also, the Authorized Version. King James Bible is an English translation of what? Of the Christian Bible. For the Church of England. So, when did it happen? It began in 1604 and completed, as well as published in 1611. So altogether 7 years, under the sponsorship of James VI and I. So who was James VI and I? James VI and I was a king. He was a king of Scotland as James VI, okay, and the king of England and Ireland as James I, okay. And let's look at this picture, Holy Bible. Look at this year. James Bible, King James Version in 1611, okay. King James Bible looks very splendid. The classic 1611 edition. Okay, now let's look at the great influence of King James Bible. King James Bible, the translation is noted for its majesty of style. And it has been described as one of the most important books in English culture. Okay, in the whole English culture, and also is a driving force in the shaping of English-speaking world. And it still shapes the way English is speaking today, like Anand. Okay, and then let's enjoy some pictures in this year. King James Bible, Holy Bible, and look at here. And let's look at the last stage of English development, that is modern English. Okay, modern English, through the worldwide influence of the British Empire, modern English spread around the world. From when to when? From 17th century to the 20th century. So, question, how huge was the British Empire? Oh, look at this. Who is this woman? Maybe some people know this woman because this woman is really famous in human history, especially in British history. She is Queen Victoria, okay? And let's look why. Why do I mention Queen Victoria here? Because Queen Victoria was Queen of the Great Britain and Ireland from 1837 to 1901. And her reign of nearly 64 years is known as the Victoria Era. It was marked by a great expansion of British Empire, okay? And let's look at this picture. This is Queen Victoria when she was old, okay? And this is the picture also about the Queen Victoria. So let's look at some changes in modern English, okay? Modern English has little inflection compared with many other languages, and modern English relies more on auxiliary verbs or word orders for the expressions. And then let's look. Despite noticeable variation among the accents and dialects of English in different countries and regions, remember this, in different countries and regions, the people speak English in different ways with different accents and dialects, but the English speakers around the world are able to communicate with each other with relative ease. Why? Because it's a mutual and a common means for communication. And so after listening to this lecture about the history of English development, I hope you can know English more and learn English more happily in the future. So that's all for my lecture today. Thank you very much.